So this week we are working on HTML5 forms, and forms are used all over the place online, and HTML5 has included quite a few new features that you can incorporate into your forms that will actually help validate them. So you will be learning all about that in the lecture demo. Okay, and there's also a little video you can watch that kind of explains the different elements of the forms and gives you an overview. And then we kind of go through the different tags. And there's several interactive tags in here. Most of the tags that I show for examples, you can actually type into. And then where appropriate, there are links to interactive examples where you can try some of the code out. For your textbook assignment, you are going to be creating a couple different forms. And this is going to be quite a bit of typing. But after you create a form, then you have the code, and you can copy and paste it into other forms that you create. So I did kind of include a little iframe here showing you what it should look like when you're done, and also what the code is that you need to key. And I also have included a PDF that you can either print out or display online while you are entering the code. The PDF is designed so you really can't copy and paste. So if you drag over it and you try to copy and paste, it shouldn't work because it is beneficial to key in these tags so you really understand what they're doing and you remember them. So that is the first form that you are going to create. And I'm going to point out, when you submit the forms, your action does need to be this web address, because I've created basically a little script that will read the data from your form and display it back to you. Okay, so you may want to make sure the action is set to this web address, and then when you submit, your form will actually go somewhere. So the first one that you're going to create is for a conference. The second one is basically a running club form. And I am giving you HTML and the graphic for this one. And so what you're going to want to do is go in and add the information for your form. And the code is shown here. And then when you're done, it's going to look something like this. And again, you are going to be submitting to a web address, and it's right here, so that when you submit your form, it actually goes somewhere and it's going to process your values and display them back. And then the last exercise basically involves adjusting this customer form for the running club and changing the action to a mail to. Okay, and that's pretty much what you need to do for this assignment. Now, if you go to the validator, just be aware that some of these newer tags it might not recognize. Don't get really hung up on that. What you should be looking for is if you're missing closing tags or if you have misspelled a tag. So after you complete your textbook assignment, you are going to work on a lab assignment where you are going to create your own form. So the code that you've already keyed in the customer and conference forms, you can actually copy and paste that into here and make adjustments for the requirements in this form. So once you have a working form, you can do a lot of copying and pasting. For this one, you do want to submit to that form processor. And all of the requirements are pretty well laid out. You know, what you need to include, the labels that you need, groupings. You do need to have your elements styled so they line up properly. And I did include an example of how you could set it up. You don't have to set it up this way. If you want to see how I did my CSS or how I did my form controls, you can right-click and view source. And I did include the CSS right at the top. And then I've got all of my form information below that. So once you finish with this form, you do need to update your assignment page. And then, so that you can share your forms with each other, you're going to post a link to your form in the discussion forum. Okay, so here's my form asking for student preferences. So if I was going to post it, I'd click up on the address and press Control and C for copy. Come over here, add a new discussion topic. So my form, or I'll even say student preferences form. So here's a link to my form. And actually, I'm going to make it a real link. So I'm going to highlight it and click on the link. And I'll make it open in a new window. Okay, so now it's an actual link. And then who is my audience? That would be students. And the purpose is to find out student preferences. So how did I decide on the layout and the design? So let's see, design and layout. So I grouped elements by type. So if we take a look, I've got address all grouped together, survey all grouped together, class grouped together, and comments with submit buttons. So it's kind of by type. And I did use a responsive layout, as you can see. Okay, so that's basically what you need to put in here as far as color schemes and graphics. I based the colors on the background graphic. Okay, so, and as far as why I chose that graphic, I chose the graphic with steps to symbolize gaining your education. Progressing to a goal. All right, so that's the type of thing you need to put in your posting, and then you will come down and post to the forum. And after you do post, you're going to review other students' posts and reply to one of them indicating what you liked about it.